All right, just hit legs, and I had a great lift, but I've been having a lot of new people coming to my channel, so I figured it would only be right for me to tell you guys who I am. So, my name's Isaiah. I've been born and raised in Kansas City. I've been in Kansas City my whole life, and growing up, I was always like the smallest guy in the room. I was always the smallest, skinniest, shortest guy in the room for the majority of my life. And I grew up with my mom. I didn't really have my dad in my life until like really recently. Like, me and my dad are cool now, but growing up I didn't really have my dad in my life. So when I was younger, at least the way I look at it, I feel as if I had a Napoleon complex, and I also didn't have my real dad in my life, and this boiled up a lot of anger inside of me as a kid, and I was lashing out on people. I was fighting people. In fourth grade, I had stabbed some kid with a pencil because he called me a midget when I tried to be the line leader. Like, I literally took out a pencil and stabbed him like 3 times full force. But thank God he had a coat on, because otherwise they probably would have sent me to a different school. So I got sent to anger management by my school, and it didn't work. And for a long time I was just really, really, really angry. And I was so angry that I got the nickname Angry Bird by some guy that used to cut my hair. But after middle school, let's jump to about around high school. Like, I went through some stuff with my mom and my family. We just weren't doing amazing, and we had like an accident, like with a fire, and it was a whole bunch of stuff going on in my life, and it was really stressing me out, and really it wasn't like a stable position, because it's like when big accidents like that happen, you're obviously not ready for that. And being young and having to see like your house be like burnt down in front of you, and like knowing that all your stuff is in there and there's literally nothing you can do, and like your family's all stressed out, everybody's there like crying, and just like seeing that as a kid didn't really feel good at all, to say the least. And like, obviously it wasn't like any crazy PTSD or anything, but I say that to really drive the point to you guys that like it was chaotic. It wasn't super stable, and it wasn't consistent. And I was already dealing with body image issues, and just already kind of depressed from that alone. And then you bring in these accidents and then other stresses in life, and I was spiraling down pretty bad. But at the time, I felt like I couldn't talk to anyone about it. I felt like if I were to tell someone like, hey, I hate the way that I look, I'm really sad about everything that's going on in my life, and I don't feel like I should be here anymore. And I felt like I couldn't do that. I felt like I couldn't talk to people about my problems, because if I did, then they would see how weak I really was. And I was already feeling like weak internally, and I was weak physically. So I didn't want people to just completely be like able to fully understand how weak I was, because as a guy, you don't want people to see that side of you. You don't want people to see that all this stuff is getting to you. But anyway, before I start just ranting on, that happened. And then fast forward to like high school, my mom gets divorced, and it was this big thing that I won't go into detail, but that kind of stressed me out too. Just, I don't really want to go into detail about that, but yeah, that was a thing. And so it was just a lot of instability and a lot of self-hatred already, and all of this stuff just kind of compounded, and it just made everything kind of worse for me, because I was already dealing with so much. I was already dealing with everything else that you have to deal with as a kid, school, people bullying you, picking on you every single day, and it didn't feel good. And so let's fast forward to high school, like ninth grade. I'm like 4'9", 4'10", probably like 90 pounds. And obviously being in high school, the guys, when you get to high school, like, bro, everybody else is growing around you. Everyone else is getting taller, getting bigger, getting stronger. But I wasn't. I was just stuck. I thought it was something. I didn't think it was something, like, wrong with me. But I kind of felt like, why me? Like, everybody else around me is confident in the way that they look. Everybody else around me doesn't seem to hate themselves. Everyone else around me seems to be happy. Why do I hate myself? Why am I depressed? Why am I suicidal? Why do I not want to be here anymore? Like, why can't I just be normal like everyone else? And, that was on my mind. And I started spiraling down even more and coping with the things that I was dealing with mentally, with, like, content that would just make my mental health worse. Just listening to depressing music and kind of just soaking in my sadness because I didn't really know what to do. And like I said, I wasn't really talking to anyone about it because I didn't want to be seen as weak, and I didn't want people to know that the things that they were saying were getting to me, because then I felt that they would start doing it even more. And my memory isn't the best, but at one point something had happened at home, and I felt like I was just at my breaking point. And I was just like, you know what, I'm done. And this is like back, I know I'm like jumping timelines, but I just don't want to leave much out. But like, I was like, I'm done. And long story short, got on my drawer and I was setting everything up in the best way that I could when I was probably, I would say, I don't know exactly how old I was, but I was no older than 15. And I was setting everything up in the best way that I could to hang myself, because I wanted to die. I wanted to just stop suffering. I wanted to stop feeling the hopelessness that I felt. I wanted to stop feeling the feelings that I felt. And I was just going to just get it over with. So as I'm doing that, my stepbrother like busts into the door randomly, and he like never does that. And like when he busted in the door, it scared me, and I didn't want him to like see what I was doing. And so I like hurried up and like took everything off and just tried to play it off like a joke, like, oh, I was just, why'd you, like, just some stupid excuse. And he kind of just looked at me and walked off and didn't really say anything. And at this time we didn't have like a great relationship either. So we were watching a movie, and this is after he had saw what I was trying to do. He was watching a movie, and it was a guy laying on the train tracks, like trying to end his life, and he had made a comment like, oh, this is Isaiah when blah blah blah, and just like starts laughing. And it just came to mind. It's ridiculous, but yeah, let's go back. Anyway, let's go forward because we went back a little bit. But anyway, I'm in high school. I hate the way that I look. I really was just at like a passive suicidal ideology at this point, because I wasn't actively looking for ways to kill myself after that for a while. So at this point, it was just like, I'm just tired of everything. If I were to die, I wouldn't care. And that's just how I felt. Like, that's genuinely how I felt for years, bro. So after, I would say, a couple of years of dealing with the exact same thing, because I don't want to just keep ranting on, like, dealing with people bullying me, pushing me around, making comments about my body every single day, making fun of me every single day. Like, my family members are joking around, like pushing me around and, making comments on me too. And then I would go to restaurants with my mom, and I'm like 15, 16 at this time, already depressed and hate myself. And like the waiters and waitresses would hand me kids menus because they thought I was like 12 or like 11. And I can laugh at it now, but at the time it was kind of degrading, because it's like, why can't people just look at me like they look at everyone else? Like, why can't I just be normal? Why can't I just why do I have to be the odd one out? Why do I have to feel this way? Why do I have to deal with the stuff that I deal with? Why do I feel the way that I feel? You know, and I kept spiraling down, and you know, I was just depressed for a while, for a very long time, and I was masking it, I was hiding it, like I said, and you know, these mental health issues didn't really get resolved until very recently, and I dealt with suicidal thoughts or passive suicidal ideology for 5 years, or four or 5 years, yeah. And I've told this story before, but we're gonna jump, because I was pretty much dealing with the same thing over and over again. Like, I would like go into the kitchen and grab the knives and just sit there for like 2-3 minutes, pointing a knife at myself, just thinking like, if I just did this, maybe it would stop. And really the biggest things that would stop me from like actually ending my life was either the pain that I would have to feel, or the fact that I would make like my mom sad, you know, because other than that, I felt like the world would have been a better place if I just wasn't in it. I felt worthless, man. Like, I genuinely just felt like if I were to just leave, no one would even care. Like, if anything, people would benefit, because I even had thoughts like, oh, my mom wouldn't have to pay as much anymore because I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't, you know. And these are thoughts that I'm having on a consistent basis, and you know, that lingered on for years and years and years, and it's pretty much the same thing that I was dealing with. So let's fast forward a little bit to when I'm like a senior in high school, or about to go to college, or just now going into college. I'm spiraling down bad. Like, I'm spiraling down terribly. I'm lashing out. I get diagnosed with derealization disorder and depersonalization disorder, and some depressive disorder too, and I'm taking antipsychotics, and I'm just trying to find like something to make me feel better, you know. And I'm talking to this therapist, and then he prescribes me, well, he sends me to some psychiatrist or something, and then he's prescribed me this anastrozole hydrochloride tablet that I was taking, and it made me feel like I was a robot. It made me feel like I wasn't even a real person, and that feeling like confused me so much, and I didn't know how to handle it. So I was mad. I was lashing out. My emotions were everywhere. And mind you, this is me when I'm like 17, 18, one or the other. And I just don't know what's wrong with me. You know, at the time I didn't know it was like why I was dealing with the things that I was dealing with. And I break up with my girlfriend that I was with at the time. Thank God that she was patient with me, and like, we're doing great now. But I break up with my girlfriend at the time because I just felt like I could not be in a relationship. I was getting too angry. I was having like violent outbursts, and I was like, it was really bad. And I started coping with my issues with drugs, and like, when I got to college, it got even worse. And this is why I always say, like, bro, the gym is just one part of it, bro. Like, yeah, I was in the gym, but bro, I was a terrible person. I didn't know how to cope with my emotions. I wasn't a real man. I wasn't anything. I was nothing, you know. And yeah, I was going to the gym, but who cares if you're going to the gym if you can't even control yourself? Like, who cares if you're going to the gym if you're thinking about ending your life all the time, or if you're like driving to school and you're like, oh, if I flip off the highway right now, I would be happy about it, you know? Like, anyway, I'm jumping around the timeline because I don't want to make this video too long. But yeah, so I break up with my girlfriend that I was with, and she did nothing but support me. She did nothing but try her best to be there for me. But I was in such a terrible spot mentally that I couldn't see that, you know. And I was really immature, and like I said, I was just spiraling down so much, and I didn't really feel like myself. And fast forward, I'm in college. I'm smoking weed every single night. Like, every single night. I don't remember if it was a night where I didn't smoke, and if it was just because I didn't have anything to smoke. So I'm literally smoking weed every single night just to cope with the way that I feel. And I was lying to myself, telling myself that I needed to do this because it helps with this, it helps with that. But in reality, I was just masking it. I was just trying to fill the void that was in me with something that would never fill it. And it just left me feeling more empty and more confused. And, I'm in college, I'm going to parties, I'm drinking, I'm like, just trying to, make myself feel better in the worst ways possible. And like, I was in a major for cybersecurity. I don't even like computers, bro. I didn't know what I was doing. I had no direction. I had no healthy coping mechanisms. I had nothing. Like, bro, I literally was just there. And that's exactly how I felt. I was just there. I didn't even feel like I was real, bro. And crazy as it sounds, but like, that's what my diagnosis was. Like, I don't feel like this anymore. But at the time, like, that's what I was diagnosed with, because that's what I was feeling. Like, if you guys don't know what that is, you can look it up, like derealization or depersonalization disorder. And you can look up inositol hydrochloride, and you can see like what it treats for and everything. But anyway, yeah, bro, spiraling down terrible. And then I get into if you want to call it a relationship with this girl for like a couple months. And fast forward, I was just like spazzing out too much. Like, I was having like these, what I thought at the time were just like manic episodes, like just screaming on the phone. Like, I'm not like that. I don't know, like on the phone, I'm just really mad about something, and then it ends, it ends, and then I get sent into like an even deeper depression because I'm like so sad about this girl. And like, I've told this before, but like, it was one time where I was just like so sad that I like called one of the guys that went to the college that I went to at the time, and I was like, yo, bro, I'm like really messed up about this. I don't really know what to do. Can I talk? And he's like, yo, bro, you should come to this party. And I've told this so many times, but I'm gonna tell it again, because like I said, we got so many new people here. And he's like, come to this party. And I'm like, okay. And like, at the time, I didn't even have a car. At the time. So I asked my mom if I can drive to this college. And I parked her car because I knew I wasn't going to be able to, drive. And I got these zipper pockets, and I put the key in the zipper pocket, I'm pretty sure, so I wouldn't grab it unless I'm like tripping. I put it somewhere so I knew like I wouldn't lose it, because I can't lose my mom's freaking key. So we go to this party. I get in their car. It's like a full car. They're passing around a pin. I just keep hitting it over and over and over again. And then I get into the party where all the people were at, and I'm like smiling, trying to act like I'm having a great time, and smoking more weed. I'm pretty sure I was drinking too, and I was just coping, and I ended up being at like some different, like, I still don't even remember it fully because that's just how out of it I was. But it was like, I was in this house with like other people. Like, I think the party was over. It was just like a couple people there, and I was just sitting on the couch, kind of just saying whatever. And like, it was a Zen, the nicotine patches. It was a Zen on the table, and I kept talking about it. And I was like, yo, give me it. And then they like gave me the Zen because like I felt like I couldn't even stand up, bro. And had it, and then I got sad, and then I remembered why I was there. And then I like went to the bathroom, and then I called this girl, and I basically just embarrassed myself on the phone in like one of the worst ways possible. And she calls one of my friends and tells him about it because we're really close, and he was like, bro, this dude's tripping. So my friend drives from his house to my school at like I don't know if it was it was dark outside, but it was like late. And he calls me, he's like, bro, come out here. And he picked me up from somewhere. Like I said, I don't really remember because it was like I was gone, like, terribly. And he gets me in the car, and he's just telling me how disappointed he is in me, and he's trying to just tell me to lock in, just being a great friend and telling me the things that I needed to hear. Because, like, bro, what was I doing? Like, me thinking back to then, even now, I'm like, bro, what were you thinking? Like, what is wrong with you? And that was the biggest thing I was always trying to figure out, like, what is wrong with me? And at this point, I was really big on TikTok. I mean, I guess I still am, but I don't really post on there as much. Like, I had like 300,000 followers. I was getting paid a couple grand a month, like $3,000 to $5,000 a month, just from posting these stupid videos. And that's how I was able to afford this degenerate lifestyle that I was living. And I just thought I would add that in to you guys. Like, bro, did you not go to work? He was like, nah, I did not go to work. I made videos on my phone for like a minute, and I would get paid from them. So anyway, that happened. And then I think at that point I was like, okay, something has to change. And eventually, and like I said, I'm not gonna be able to remember this like exactly on the timeline because, bro, it was a lot going on, and I was just kind of just not there a lot of the times. And I was also taking freaking antipsychotics. Ridiculous. But yeah, bro, so I was doing that, and I was like, bro, like, something has to change. Like, I gotta do something different. And then that's when I started to, like, slowly but surely move down a different path. I started to do really bad in school, and then I got to a point to where I didn't even care because I never wanted to go to college. I just went there because I had a scholarship, but eventually I lost my scholarship because I just was so done with school. I didn't care. Like, I would show up to class 5 minutes before it ended and then leave before it ended. And it was a point in time where I was only going to college to use the gym and to eat at the dining hall, and then I would come back home. My mom would be like, oh, how was class? And I would be like, great. But the whole time I didn't even go to class. So anyway, I just leave school. Like, I'll just leave school, bro. This is a serious video, but it's just so I'm just glad I'm able to laugh about it now. It's like, bro, I leave school, and I'm like, bro, what am I gonna do? I'm making like $4,000 a month from TikTok. Do I want to do this? I'm like, I don't know what I want to do. And this leads to me feeling kind of lost for a little bit. Me and my mom, bro, it's so much. Oh my goodness. Like, so anyway, there's a lot of stuff going on. Me and my mom were like bumping heads for a while. It was one night to where I was just like so overwhelmed and like so angry with myself and everything else around me that I ended up like storming out of my house with no shoes on. Just like so angry that I couldn't, like, I was so angry to the point that I was doing like the actions that I was doing like made no sense. Like, why are you walking outside with no shoes on in the middle of the night, not even knowing where you're gonna go? Like, I was like so mad and so just done with everything that I was just like, I don't even know. I wanted to just get away from everything. But I went to my friend, the same friend that took me from the college party, was like, bro, what are you doing? Where are you at? And he picked me up from wherever I was at, and took me to my current girlfriend's house, and I just like sat with her and basically just like trauma dumped and cried till like 3 a.m. And there's so much other stuff, but it's like, I don't want to, this video is probably already like 30 minutes long. But anyway, let's get to the part where things switch. Okay, so the biggest things that changed was like God found me, and I started to focus more on like my self-development, my habits, and my internal transformation that I needed to do. And this is why I push BTG so much, because it truly is beyond the gym that matters. Like, not, it's like, bro, if you're like, this is a perfect example. Like, I was going to the gym like most of this time, and I was still this like degenerate loser that was nothing, bro. Like, I'm not gonna say nobody, but like, bro, I was nothing. And anyway, I'm getting off track. I'm sorry, guys, but let's get to the part where things start to change. So, anyway, me and my mom end up getting into like a disagreement. It was a really bad disagreement. I ended up leaving home, and then I'm like hopping from my bro's house to my dad's house, and then I ended up having a crazy living situation to where I was just kind of I was like as close as you can get to being, the lowest of the low. And you guys can, you can fill in the blanks on that. But anyway, this whole time, I'm working on launching some sort of coaching, because my friend Jaden, he works for this marketing agency. He's a copywriter, and he's like, yo, bro, you could really just start being a coach. I know you don't want to go to school. Or no. I told him that I wanted to do that, and he was like, yo, I can help you a lot with that. Blah, blah. Anyway, we end up working, like, this whole time where I'm just, like, not even at a stable living. I'm not even able to, like, sit down and live in, like, a regular home. not a regular home. I'm not able to, like, sit in a stable place, if that makes sense. Like, I'm just jumping from place to place. Anyway, but as I'm jumping from place to place, I'm, like, doing research on how to be a coach, how to, I do this, how do I do that, like, doing market research, hopping on calls, and I'm, like, slowly doing this, and then I get into personal branding, and I'm like, yo, this is really what I want to do. And then I realized, I'm like, man, I really do want to be a coach. I really do want to help people. Like, I know how it is. I know how it feels to be, like, super small on the inside and out, hate yourself, literally want to end your life because of how bad your situation is. And I have a pretty good physique, and I'm very knowledgeable in lifting because that's all I cared about for years. So it's like, why not do this? And so that's what I started to do. And just fast forward, because I know this video is super long. I didn't mean to drag it out this much, but now fast forward, in an amazing relationship with the woman that I want to marry. I'm doing coaching full time. I'm still working on my personal brand every single day, and I just feel like I'm becoming the best man that I can be day by day, not just through, my physique, not just having a good physique, but, genuinely just becoming a new and better person through the gym and through, the help of God. And I'm able to actually like who I am inside and out when I look at myself in the mirror. And that's why I launched BTG, because I just know how important it is to have that real internal transformation and not just the external transformation. So if you got to the end of this, thank you. This is a really long video. I know it was kind of all over the place, but it's hard for me to remember a lot of this stuff because, like I said, I was doing drugs. I was on antipsychotics. I was kind of just out of it for a long time, but a very long video. And like I said, if you made it to the end of this somehow, thank you so much for hearing my story in a nutshell, I guess I could say, because there's so much more. But I mean, I've been alive for 19 years, so it's a pretty decent amount of stuff to talk about. But join BTG for free. It's in my comments and in my description, most likely. It's a free community for you guys to help you transform yourself inside and out. And yeah, bro, that's my story. I hope this makes sense. I really do, because I'm gonna just have it raw. You know how I post my videos. So I love you guys. Jesus loved you too. Thank you for watching. And that's why that's how I became and why I became a fitness coach. So that's kind of who I am.